Kamayan in our native language means hands. When we started the pop-up, we actually have a Kamayan fist, or what some people actually name it as a budol fight. So it's a traditional way of, like, back in the Philippines then, if we visit our grandfather in the province, that's actually how they lay the food, is in the banana leaves with all the food in the center. And you eat it with your hands. And that's how the Kamayan is actually. Food is really essential because especially if you're in a different country, it's most of the people that they miss back in the Philippines is the food. And of course, their friends. And unfortunately, in Atlanta, there's not a lot of Filipino restaurants. And that's another reason why we actually established Kamayan ATL, so we could actually share what Filipino is through our food.
Eggplant curry, and this is the curry base. This is a very regional dish that comes from Bicol. So we saute onions, garlic. Sometimes I add ginger, galangal, which is turmeric, and depending on my mood, I make it very spicy, or I'm gonna make it pretty on the medium spice today. So after I've sauteed the garlic and the onion, I put my red chilies and I let it saute for a little bit to make the flavors come out. And then you'll see the change in color, including the onion. I want it golden brown and a little bit caramelized. Red chili flakes, pepper, salt, and then I kind of like saute it some more. Then we pour the coconut cream. So when we were starting as a pop-up, we used to buy the coconuts, we grate them ourselves, we squeeze them. But now that we're feeding about 500 people a day, 500 to 600, then we have switched to canned coconut cream. Once it boils, you kind of like simmer it in low until it thickens into almost like a gravy. So we par fry it and then we finish it off in a clay pot. I grew up with clay pot cooking, and we just cover it in a coconut curry sauce. Just so. I layer it basically with the coconut cream and then more eggplant. Slightly blanched green beans, string beans. Then we'll cover it. Purple cabbage for crunch. This is habanero. Some coconut flakes and then some scallions to taper down the heat. And then because it's me, I add a lot of chilies. Eggplant curry. All right, your turn, Dada.
Okay, so we have our Argentinian prawns. So we just try to cut the whiskers. See, that's how big these prawns are.
So in the Philippines, we eat a lot of that, especially on the weekends when we go to the beach.
Bamboo skewer. Yeah.
So in the beginning, I couldn't boil an egg. So the very first Kamayan or budol fight that I ever did was for his birthday, but he ended up cooking most of the dishes, and it was his birthday, but he didn't mind. I lived in Manila, I lived in the Philippines until after college. So I developed the palate, and I still remember the dishes, the heirloom dishes that my mama and my lola, my grandmother, used to cook for us. So we just cook from memory, basically. But in the beginning, it was mostly Carla doing the heavy lifting for everything. But I soon took over, and all the best sellers now are my dishes.
Right now, this is our chicken that we're prepping for our barbecue. So typically, our Filipino barbecue, how it distinguishes from other barbecues, we use banana ketchup. which is actually what I have in here right now. This is actually our marinade sauce that we use for our barbecue before actually grilling.
Here at Kamayan, we serve them as appetizer, but people eat it with rice as well. So we're not gonna stop you if you wanna eat it with rice. So this is how we plate it. I come from a family, I come from a region that we love a lot of spices. So we typically top it with chili, Thai chili, or any chili that we have on hand. Green onions, scallions, so kind of like, and then my mom has always like interjected tomatoes or cucumbers. And then these are actually peanuts. These are peanuts. Peanut crackers is what we call it. We were able to get some dragon fruits. It has become more common now to have dragon fruits. They grow it in Florida now. Our chicken barbecue skewers. Our dishes, because we're an archipelago, is diverse to begin with, and then being colonized for 333 years by Spain, and then we got sold to the US, and then we got occupied by the Japanese during the war. It has become a lot like a melting pot of Asian cuisines and American cuisines. So that's what we're trying to put on our menu, are both like the mainstream dishes as well as the dishes like kulma, like the Muslim Filipinos cook. People from the other islands have never heard of prior to it, because we've converted into Catholics and we've became Christians, and we no longer eat the food from our Islam brothers and sisters. Okay, thank you. So this is inihaw na sugpo, which is grilled prawns. We come from Bicol, so there's always chili. And then garlic bits. We love garlic on everything. Some scallions. And there you have it, our inihaw na sugpo.
Every item in this restaurant has its story. Behind me, you can see the Bahay Kubo, which is actually a traditional home back in the Philippines then.
My mom never saw me cook. I never got the chance to cook for her. But she cooked for us, all 6 of us, day in and day out. And I never got that, to return that, you know. And I wish I was able to cook for her and show her the dishes that she would lovingly cook for me as a child. Another reason why I get emotional is that we were colonized, bought, sold, occupied by so many different countries that our cuisine, they would say it's so diluted or it's not worth going out to eat. So I get emotional because our whole heart is in it. We cook with our whole heart. And since I didn't go to culinary school, I cook from my gut. Like, I don't follow any recipes. There's a whole bunch of cookbooks that's on the shelf, but I don't want to be like influenced, and I want to be able to create what my grandmother and my mom showed me. And I want to be proud of where I came from. And part of that has something to do with food.